Hey guys, welcome to another exciting episode of the Deluxe Corner. Hey Vin, how are you?
Hey AJ, pretty good.
Very
it's good to be here.
I know, we have so much to talk about, but before we do, let's play our intro. Yes, and we're back. We're here with someone special, Vin.
Yeah, so we've got a special guest with us tonight. Why don't you reveal yourself? Who are you?
Yay!
Hey, Trish.
Hello. Thank you. That was actually really hard work having to cover my face with that. Anyway.
I kind of think people suspect who was behind the bag of Alan's
You reckon?
snakes.
How?
Yeah, but your jacket.
Yeah, true.
Like,
Yeah, it's a
right.
bit funky, but
Yeah.
that's what I
Well,
love funky.
It's really special to have you here with us tonight. You know, when we came up with this idea in growth groups,
Yeah.
you were actually there.
Yes.
I actually don't remember this at all.
I think it was just two of us talking.
It was a
but-
private conversation.
yeah.
That I was
But
trying
then-
to get in.
Yeah. No, but then when we were having a conversation about this podcast idea, there was a bright light that came in through the room. I don't know if you
Wait,
noticed it.
what?
I think it was just
literal?
between us two,
Or maybe it's just Vino
that-
turning on a light.
Yeah.
pretty much. But you were there at the conception of this
What a
when
privilege.
it was birthed.
That's what happens when best friends come together. Revelations just
that's
happen.
when we were together. Me
Yeah,
and
best-
RJ
yeah,
were
the best,
yeah.
the trio of best
And
friends.
here's her
Yeah,
bit
trio
coming back
duo or
in, where
something,
she's
yeah.
trying to get in between us, and literally she's in between us now.
Yeah, I actually chose to sit in the middle as well. So
She's trying really. Look, we've had this running joke with her where she's trying to claw her way into me and Vin's friendship group.
I wouldn't say claw. I would say smoothly.
Right. Yeah, we have plenty of photos of you
Yeah.
smoothly creeping in.
Should we
Insert photo?
insert now?
No, you'll see. It'll pop up for those watching on YouTube, but I guess for those listeners, you'll just have to watch the video to see.
Yeah. Well, anyways, Trish, tell us a little bit about yourself. How do we know you?
We know each other through going to the same church together, so St. Barnabas. So pretty, I think that's our initial thing together, actually.
Yeah, and you've been at St. Barnabas for a few years now.
Yeah, this is my third year. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Okay, third year of being at our church, and before that, you were at another church.
Yeah, I was at a Vietnamese church, a church that I grew up with and going with my family. And I think been there for probably 15 years or even
15
more,
years,
actually.
wow.
Yeah.
That's almost like your whole
That's your entire life.
my
You're 16, right?
Actually, my whole teenage life.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So I moved here when I was an adult.
Nice.
You see.
So,
Anyway.
Okay, no, never mind.
so on that topic, how did you become a Christian?
Yeah, so actually started off, so I grew up in a family where mum was Christian, dad wasn't. And so I would go to church on Sunday, and then actually in the week I would be encouraged to bow down to my ancestors and worship using incense and things like that. So I was quite Play-Doh, quite very moldable in what my parents expected from me or family expected from me. But then at the age of 10, I really wanted a sibling, right? Actually 8. So I started praying because I was oh, God, is this God that listens to my prayers? Because I knew that from Sunday school. And then we were at Yamcha, and then dad got a call from mum, and she was I'm pregnant. And then I was yes, God is so good. He just gives me what I want.
Oh, okay.
And that was the view that I held onto God for a very long time, actually. So that would be really dependent on oh, if God doesn't give me something that I pray for, then God isn't faithful. So that was a very black and white thing for me. And then when I was in high school, one of my friends started a Christian group called Save My School. And then went to that and eventually led that as well with my friend. But also going to youth group at actually St. Barnabas or called Life back then.
Yeah.
And that was a really valuable time because I actually had older people who were Christians for longer. And he actually met up with me and read the Bible together with me and actually heard God's word being preached in a really clear way. And then I got to experience God's grace and actually understood truly that God is so much more than the God that gives me stuff. Yeah. And I was like, whoa, God is actually more than that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
That's interesting.
So I was 15. Yes.
I don't think I've ever
15 years
asked
old.
you about your testimony.
Oh,
This was
yeah.
actually legit my first time
Oh, really? Oh.
hearing it.
There you
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
And
Insightful.
what do you get up to during the week?
Yes,
What keeps you busy?
Yeah, what keeps me busy and that grows grey hairs on my head. I'm a primary school teacher for a bunch of 10 to 12-year-olds, so year 5 and year 6. So that takes the majority of my energy and my day. Yeah.
Wow, I can imagine dealing with children the whole day. I don't think I have the capacity.
Yeah,
to.
sometimes I'm like, man, I'm crazy enough to choose this job, you know? But anyway, I love them. They make me feel young. No, and old at the same time.
Well, I guess you'd stay pretty relevant because you hear what kids talk about and
Yeah.
what's in and what's not.
Well, I'm like the youngest at work, but they make me feel so old and so short.
What a combo
Yeah,
of like
the best combination.
depression.
So we're actually in the same growth group,
Yes.
and it's been a great privilege to
Yeah.
have you in the same group.
Vin, that's the nicest thing you've ever said to
Then
me.
are you sure you
I
want to
say
let her?
nice things to people.
Oh my goodness.
Are you sure you want to let her into?
I said
Jokes,
Vin and
jokes.
Poppin?
in growth group.
Oh, okay.
But
I'm just
actually-
in growth.
we've had some pretty funny things happen in growth groups in particular our growth group this year. And in our growth group, we've got nicknames for one another.
Since day one.
Right.
day one.
Yeah, since day one. Like our Facebook Messenger group chat, like I legit don't know who is talking because everyone's always changing the names of the members in the chat and the members in our growth group. So then, yeah, it's just like whenever someone messages, I have to look at the picture to figure out who it is. Because I'm just like, who the heck is like Chicken Hair or Chicken Little or
White-haired chicken. There's a couple of chickens, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chicken Man.
Yeah.
True,
And
we
then
have
there's
white-haired
white-haired
chicken and
Yeah.
chicken man. I think there's
Yeah.
only 2 chickens.
Oh,
Yeah,
2
right.
chickens,
Because
right.
we had specific, like anecdotal stories
Yeah.
about those.
So it makes it special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But out of all the names, I quite enjoy Trish's name. Okay, just tell us what is it based on? What was it based on?
Yeah, okay. So my name's Trish, but I've actually grown up, as in when I was born, I actually just had a Vietnamese name called Thiep. Okay, so I dare you now to pronounce it. But anyway, so when I went to preschool, people just called me like, oh, Tip, I tipped you, ha ha ha. And I got really annoyed. So I was like 7. Oh no, actually younger, like 5. And I was like, parents, I don't want this name anymore. So at that time, I really adored this Vietnamese singer called Trish Thuy Giang. Okay, so I was like, that's my name.
Oh, so you chose your
I
name.
chose my name.
Right. I
So-
didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, I just my parents just paid $200.
Oh.
I can't believe they listened to me. I was like 4. That's pretty.
They
Yeah.
must have loved you, or
I
you
know.
just had.
I was the only child.
You had like heaps of power over them, which is really concerning. You could tell them essentially, whatever, change my name now.
Or else
Or
I would climb back in the womb.
yeah, I would be afraid to and do whatever you said if that was your threat. But could you say that name that you chose again?
Yeah, so it's Trish Thi Giang. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But my full name in Vietnamese is Jung Wang Kim Thiep.
Wait, could you say that again?
I'm just thinking about the joke in my head. Jung Wang Kim Thiep.
Okay, and in group chat, what did people end up calling you?
They end up calling me John Wang.
John Wang. John Wang.
Good old John Wang.
John Wang.
Yeah. So now in our group chat, I clearly know who John Wang is.
Yeah.
Every time John Wang pops up, I'm like, oh, Trish.
It's a pretty good name.
John
Actually, pretty good.
Wang. Yeah. I don't even remember mine.
Do you guys have nicknames?
What was my one again?
Is it just IJ?
Oh, well, yeah, growing
Jordan,
up.
right?
Yeah,
The-
Isaiah Jordan. IJ is my nickname. So if people refer to me as IJ, I know they're my friend. But whenever I introduce myself to people, I say Isaiah because I feel like that leaves a stronger impression.
Yeah.
So, and I feel
Okay.
it's a cooler name because you know how many
I
compliments
think
I get.
IJ's cooler.
Really, I get a lot of
Yeah.
compliments. Even when I am working and I'm talking to clients and stuff, and I have to introduce myself, say I'm Isaiah from so and so. They're just like, "Wow, that's a nice name." Like I always get that. So apparently, it's a rare, nice name. But then now I know there's in the Christian circle, people are catching on, and I swear I know so many baby Isaiahs now.
Yeah.
And it's just like, stop it! You're
That's
taking
my
away my
name.
individuality. Like, no,
Yeah,
this is
right.
mine. But anyway, yeah.
What did your managing director call you?
Oh yeah, that's right. And also, nobody can spell or read Isaiah, my name. So the national manager, we were in like a meeting. Oh no, more like a gathering where we were celebrating Christmas, a company Christmas party. That's what it was.
Yep.
And he was just reading out our names, and then he came to my name. And it's Isaiah, but he read it I see haha. And I was just like,
way.
and obviously I couldn't laugh or respond, and I had to pretend that was 1,000% correct because this was the national director saying my name. I'm like, yep, that's me.
Wait, did he-
I saw haha. Don't fire me. Yes, you got it right. That's my name from now on.
Wait, did he actually, as in he actually,
Yeah,
like, it wasn't a
he
joke.
butchered it really bad. Like, and you know, like he was actually trying because he looked at my name for a while. Like he was, and then he did that face when like you can't really read it, and you're just like,
It's
what?
not even spelt that way.
No, it's not. I think he's just dyslexic.
Dude, that's so good.
Anyway, that director is gone now.
Because he
Obvious.
can't read.
He just can't read my name. Actually,
Yeah.
it's a bit of a confusing name to read. Actually, like if I didn't have my name, I don't think I could read it like and pronounce it. Asia was probably another
Yeah.
mispronunciation.
Isaiah's a very common name.
Yeah, it's not
I'd
that
call
uncommon.
you Isaiah or Isaiah.
I like the American way.
Yeah.
Isaiah. Yeah. What about you, Vin?
I don't have any nicknames. Do I? I have a coffee nickname.
Oh, no,
as in
I have one for you.
I order coffee, and
Okay.
I don't normally tell people my name's Vin. I say it's Dean.
Oh, why not? Is it just people just mispronounce Vin? Or something?
Yeah. It's always something not. It's never Vin.
It's just not
Wouldn't
right.
they just spell as VIN like Vin Diesel?
Yeah, but then
But it's because you're
there's
Asian.
more of a conversation that goes on behind that because they'll
Yeah,
go,
okay.
as in like Vincent or.
And you're like, I don't have time to talk to you.
Yeah,
I'd rather just say Dean and then
get it over and
I
done
just
with.
want my coffee.
Yeah, I don't want your friendship. I want your.
What do you call you? Vanilla.
You did call me that,
No.
but that never caught on. So I'm very thankful for that.
But do you know what
Well-
another name caught on?
What?
The thing that he's obsessed about.
Oh, sandwich bag. Yes,
Sandwich bag Vin.
dude.
I love those sandwich
He's
bags.
one wacky man.
No, yeah, Vin has this. Would you say? I'd say this obsession with
Yeah.
sandwich bags.
Yeah.
He-
And like pasta sauce. Like it's a bit low-key creepy how many he has in his
I
cupboard.
had 4 jars of pasta
Dude,
sauce.
you had like 9.5.
Hey, it's been quarantine. He needed to be prepared. He was in that rush, that early rush for
need
pasta
my
and pasta
pasta.
sauce. He was elbowing all the old women, like, get out of my way. This is my sauce. Yeah. Yes. Oh, by the way, congratulations.
Oh, thank you. On what?
I don't know. Getting engaged.
On what?
Yeah, show the camera. I didn't even know.
Wait. Yellow. Oh no, I was going to do the magical one.
Oh, right. And there it is. So that's for the audio listeners. That's her. That's how her ring sounds like
Yeah.
when she shows
Every
people.
time.
Oh, there it is again.
Sparkling noise of the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how magical it is. And yeah, who is the lucky man?
His name is Nathan Alexander Booth.
Oh,
Cool name, son.
Sorry, Alexander.
Alexander Booth.
Is that allowed? Like, are you supposed to reveal that?
Sure.
Okay,
Surely it's
he's
not a
cens-
secret.
Yeah, actually,
I
no,
think
it's
on
not
his birth
really.
certificate.
It's not really an embarrassing name.
It's
actually.
really not.
It's
If it was like Nathan, like Wang.
If it's John Wang or something like that, it'd be like, no.
I'm marrying myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And I guess I've always, like, you announced, like, you got engaged how long ago?
Like 2 weeks ago now.
And
oh, wait. Yeah, nearly 2 weeks ago.
And I never got to ask you how Nathan did it because, I wanted to save it for this particular
Yes.
moment.
And I'm actually really thankful because now if people ask me, I'm just like, listen to this podcast.
Which is good. So please take it away. How did he propose?
Okay, so early in the week, so 2 weeks ago, like on a Tuesday, he was like, "Oh, let's go to Manly on the to the beach, and we'll visit out like his sister who lives there, and then we'll visit another friend afterwards." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, that sounds like a fun Saturday." So I got to his place. Like the plan was to get to his place by like 11ish, but then it was like the long weekend traffic, so it took me 2 hours to get to his place. So then by then I got there like 12:30, had lunch, so things were like running 2 hours behind schedule. Anyway, I was like, oh, should we really go to Manly? Like, there's gonna be heaps of people there. But he was like, oh no, like let's, like we'll just keep going. Like my sister said, it's fine. And the reason why it was very important for us to be in Manly was because he was going to give his car keys to his sister so that she could drive to the proposal place, and then we could just drive home. Yeah, so we had to be there. Anyway, so we got to the beach, and then we actually took like 30 minutes to walk there because we parked at his sister's place. And then we only swam for a little bit, and then he was like, oh, actually, we should need to catch the ferry soon because our friend, like, it only comes back like every hour. But then his thinking was that he wanted to be at the proposal place by sunset, which was like 6 p.m. But the ferries only came like after every hour.
Yeah.
So he was like, oh, like, let's go. So I was getting a bit annoyed, to be honest, because I was like, oh, we've only been here for like 20 minutes, like kind of seeing this friend. Like, can't we just see, like, but I was like, no, got to be loving, not, selfish. So I didn't like grumble physically, like verbally, but you could tell my face that I was annoyed. So he was like, oh, Trish is annoyed, but this was meant to be a happy day, but it was stressful since the beginning of the day. Anyway, so I was pretty much silent throughout the whole ferry trip. I felt really bad, but I was just like annoyed. Anyway, so I got to Circular Quay, and then he was like, oh, actually, I'll just see this friend on Monday. Because it's like, I forgot what he said, but something like, oh, it's getting late, and he's probably done with works and blah, blah, blah. And then he was like, but I want to check out this pool in Cremorne where I went with my sister last week, but then I didn't get a chance to go. And before that, he mentioned he wanted to go for like a second swim.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, cool, whatever. And at this point, I was actually like feeling happy again because I was like, oh yes, like I'm like keen, and like place. I was like, don't have to, use a lot of my other energy to see this friend.
Right.
Anyway, yeah. So he thought at this point, that I found out that he was going to propose, but it was like I definitely had no idea.
Okay. Anyway,
so we got to Cremorne, and then he was like, oh, do you want to go to the pool first or the lighthouse? And I was like, oh, let's go to the pool because it was getting a bit late. And he's like, okay, like we'll go that way. And then we went that way through this like weird road, and it led to a dead end. I actually think he actually forgot where the pool was. So anyway, he's like, oh no. And then, but on the previous Tuesday, I actually like scouted around Cremorne with his sister to see which spot. So his original spot was packed with people. Yeah. And one of my criteria is that I need it to be like, not in front of people because I get embarrassed real easily.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. I can embarrass myself, but I can't let, like, if other people...
If you're not prepared for it.
Yeah.
If you're not...
like, secondhand embarrassment.
Right.
Is the death of me.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he was, like, scouting out a place, and then there was, like, this rock, and, like, he looked to his left, and there was, like, these rocks and, like, this very secluded place where you got to climb, like, 1.5 meters down. So it was a bit of a climb.
He made you work for it.
I know, man. I was like, why are we here? So I didn't have like an inkling until he was like, oh, are you hungry? And I was like, oh no. And then he brought out this lunchbox and there was like kombucha. I love kombucha. But anyway, and I was like, oh, wait. This might be it, right? Yeah. So I had that inkling then when he brought out the food. But then the previous week, I thought he was going to propose then, but then he didn't. So then that made me doubt myself. And I was like, oh, nah, like it's been a really like chaotic day, whatever. And that was when he proposed. And I was like, but then I didn't.
Yes.
Yeah. But let's just say I didn't answer him properly. So it was like, I cannot. And then like I bumped my head on a rock. And then he was like, oh, so what's the answer? I'm like, oh yeah, like, yeah. So
your response was literally, I can't even. You went, will you marry me? I can't even. And then you proceed to hit your head.
Yes, yeah. And I said finally as well, because I've been waiting. So finally you did it, mate. Anyway.
good job.
Yeah.
Good job, Nathan.
Yeah, and then his
Wow.
sisters came out a bit after and like took photos.
Oh,
but we
that's
tried
nice.
taking photos on like our like my phone,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
on a timer. That was not good,
Okay.
but it was fun. Yeah.
That was good. Wow. That sounded like a truly magical moment. Oh, there we go. That's your cue to always show your ring.
Yeah.
To the Wow. Wow, that was quite a story. Like you really went through a lot of cardio
I
to
did.
get that ring.
Yeah, and a
Yeah.
lot of emotion.
And
A lot of emotion from
Mainly annoyance.
you remembered every single detail.
I did. Actually, Nathan wrote like on his journal of the whole process. Like it was like 5 pages or something.
After the
After, yeah, because he wanted to remember.
Oh, that's so sweet. You know, that's
It's kind of cringe, but
Wow,
that's
is it?
fine.
No, but that's a keeper, man. There's not much guys that
Yeah,
write
I
down
know,
their
right?
emotions.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed.
And that's a good thing.
Men have emotions.
Yes, I do write
Actually,
my emotions
yes,
as well.
you do. I'm so
which
proud of you.
I want to share in a later podcast how it's helpful. But anyway,
Yeah.
back to you.
Yeah, that's the story.
yeah, nice.
Yes. Oh wait, so how long were you guys friends for actually before you?
We were friends. We met in 2016 on a mission trip, but we weren't friends until 2017. So it was like a 1 year gap.
Oh, okay.
So I would say like around 3 years of friendship, or 2.5, somewhere around there.
And then you guys dated
Yeah.
for how
Yes.
long? So 3
For 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of friendship, I feel like that's a topic that you've passionately discussed before.
Yeah.
So I guess this could lead us to your part of tonight's podcast,
Yeah.
which is the topic of
Friendship, but specifically is friendship between men and women. Can they really be friends?
oh, that's the age-old question.
You shouldn't be laughing at that part, but anyway, you ruined the moment.
Ruined the mystery. Vin's clear on the, like that's not a mystery. It's pretty clear, which we'll find out. Yes, but yeah, well,
Yeah.
care to
Yes,
expand.
I think it's something I've always really thought about and only had a few conversations with different people. Just because it's important to acknowledge and figure out what is good friendships and what are wise friendships, and especially in a Christian, from like a Christian perspective. But yeah, like thinking about friendships in Christian community, and how can we best grow in our friendships, but at the same time acknowledge like potential risk or potential temptations that comes alongside with being friends with opposite sex. But what are like the goodness of it as well. So kind of like working out the blurriness of it all.
Yeah, the gray area.
Yeah.
Where to draw the line in that gray
Yes.
to be like, no, this is clearly.
Is there even a
something-
line, you know?
Ooh,
Like,
yeah.
anyway, so all these questions, like what are the boundaries, you know, what are the different types of friendships?
Yeah.
So I thought it'd be good to actually discuss through like, what are the different types of friendships?
Yeah, I agree because
Yeah.
like I feel like just in general, society tends to highlight more romantic relationship, and then after that, family. But yeah, friendship is always something that is there in the background, but it's never really highlighted or emphasized
Yeah.
as much as those other two topics.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is a great time to speak about because it is important. It is very important, and it does play a key role sometimes in how we make our decisions, especially in a Christian community. We listen to our Christian friends and family and stuff. So,
Yeah.
And so, well, where did you want to start? this
Yeah,
topic?
so I thought we'll establish like, sorry, I'm gonna burp. Okay, I'm good. Like the different types of friendships. So I was thinking a single man and a single woman.
Okay.
So that's option 1.
Okay.
Option 2 is a single man or woman and a married man and woman or woman. And then third option is a married man and a married woman. And I think is that all the options? We were talking about
Yeah,
this.
I think that's the 3 scenarios.
That's
Like
the
you can
3
interchange,
main.
like the option 2
Yeah.
is like interchangeable
Yeah.
between sexes, but yeah,
Yeah.
those are the 3 main scenarios. Yep.
Yeah. So I guess we should go through like single man versus single woman.
Okay,
First.
I'll start off with my opinion.
Yeah.
My
Why
opinion
don't you
on
start?
that is they're both single, and if they're close friends, that's okay.
Yeah.
Because there's
But how do you define close?
okay for me. Close friends mean that you're close enough to trust each other to talk about your struggles, this and that. This is just in the sphere of friendship. Those kind of things. I feel like that's okay because you're not in any other exclusive relationship where that is the boundary that you don't cross. That's something that I just take into account. Well, I guess we'll get into that later, but just in terms of single man, single woman, I feel like they can be good friends.
Yeah.
But I guess if there is a risk that you're trying to avoid, and the risk is you like one or both aren't interested in each other, but want to remain good friends, I think then the individuals involved have to assess the motives and be very clear with one another what it is.
As in establish expectations beforehand.
Yeah.
Even with someone that you might not like really know in the beginning, but then the friendship kind of like...
Yeah, like I think it's very specific to the scenarios.
Yeah.
So like, for example, if one of them starts growing feelings for the other, that's when it becomes difficult, because if the other person is like, whoa, no, I don't see you like the way I want to keep you in this friendship circle, friendship kind of environment, while the other person's like, oh no, I want this to go into something more. But either whether it be the male or the female that feels, if it's just one-sided, that's when obviously the line has to be drawn.
Yeah.
Well, what do you guys think?
And I think like men and women are wired so differently in terms of like emotional intelligence. Yeah. So I think like as a woman, I would say that we're very aware of emotions and we like making decisions based on our emotions, or we feel things very quickly, but we acknowledge it.
Wait. So my question also is like, when women feel certain emotions, let's say the woman liked the man in this situation. Are the women from your experience, are you most likely to act on it and make it something, or are you more likely to like, I like this one, but wait, I need to think about this for ages?
Yeah, I think I've been both. As I've like matured in my faith, I've actually been that person that's like, if I feel something, I would actually communicate that with that person, because I don't want to be that person that romanticizes a moment when it's not actually that. So being more realistic with the situation has been really helpful. Yeah.
I think that's one of the key things, is to have clear communication. And like speaking in a I guess Christian domain, if you are very clear with if you're clear with your communications between the two of you, then I think it's one which you can make a clear decision as to whether you want to continue this friendship, or whether you need to dial back how intimate you two are together. And I mean, the word intimate is pretty, it could be pretty, it's a heavy word.
Yeah.
It can mean
between friends.
It can mean different things to different people.
Yes.
And I think that's another topic that we'll go into.
Soon.
Let's not,
soon. But yeah.
Let's just say how close you two are as friends would potentially need to be dialed back if there's a clear, I guess, a breach in expectations between you two.
Yeah.
But that can only be made clear in communication between the two parties.
Going back to the idea though, I wanted to ask, because from my experience as a male, when I'm in that position where I grow feelings for a female that I'm good friends with, like for me, I'm just like, I want to date you straight away. Like there's no like, oh, I need to think about this. Like if I like you, I'm gonna go for it. Do you feel the same way when you like someone, or is there a bit more, wait, no, I need to think about this in your thought process?
I've never had close, I don't think I've ever had like close female friends.
Is that intentional or you just don't have friends?
Hey,
you're just inching out of the friendship group. You're just like hitting the nail on the coffin right now.
I thought we were the three of us.
I guess
not.
Tough love.
But anyway,
I don't know. It's I've had my friendships have been in a group context. So I've been good friends with girls, but in a group context. Like we'd hang out in groups. We'd never.
Yeah.
But I guess, well, in the context of you liking a girl, have you just been like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go for a shoot my shot, kind of, so to speak?
Yeah.
Or there's not much. Because I feel like with females, do you guys think about it even before you get the feeling? Because I've only ever experienced, oh, I like this girl, let's go for it. Well, I feel like girls think about it
I
more.
like to mull over it a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I definitely don't just like,
Because my experience is whenever I've liked a female and I've told that female, there's just a lot of hesitation.
From your end?
From the female's end. Like I feel like females are more hesitant going
Mm.
into things rather than being like, yeah, let's do it. Well, at least within the Christian circle, a lot of the girls are more hesitant as opposed to other circles. I don't know how it would look like, but I feel like younger people and people who aren't Christian, like they just fall into relationships so much quicker and easier. While I feel like in the Christian circle, girls think a lot about things and are more likely to say no because I feel like they're more picky. With my experience. But yeah.
So that's kind of weighing up the risks, right? Into getting into a relationship, getting into a friendship relationship.
Especially with the opposite sex.
Yeah, is to think through the potential that something might happen between you two. Or if something can happen, then you two have established a clear boundary between you two that you are going to remain friends. Then that comes into the second aspect of relationships is boundaries, right?
Yeah.
So now that, like in the instance where you two have decided that, you know, you're going to be friends and you've decided not to, like in the Christian domain to date or to, I guess, I don't know, spend some time together. Because also what comes down to boundary also is that you might spend time together, which means you might spend time together in an intimate setting.
Yeah.
I think that topic of intimacy is when it comes up.
Yeah.
So like, I guess in the topic of intimacy, I guess there is that idea. Well, I guess it gets gray because we think in the secular, generally, intimacy is only something that you experience when, I guess, you know, you're in a romantic relationship. And that's like, when you hear intimacy in our society, we think of that. But in reality, you can still feel intimacy in other relationships, whether it's family or friendship. Like you can still feel loved and cared for without it being romantic. Like you can feel those things. And so, that I guess that's just now then identifying the line where it's starting to either go romantic or if this is a platonic friendship.
Yeah. And that's why I think the discussion of boundaries. So one of, because I think like the stuff for Nathan and I, it was very blurry because we started off as friends. Like it was actually through this friend that we were talking like to him about Jesus. And then things moved on to like a one-to-one chat because like, oh, you know, where to next with this friend? And then started like, oh, what did you do today? Like I think one of the tricky things with friendships is that it flows really naturally. And then it hit that point where it's like, oh, okay, what is this now? So feeling the weight of blurriness and kind of being like, that's when it's like communicate, set expectations. So we've had like multiple conversations about that. And anyway, so once we got to the dating stage, one of the boundaries that we established, because we still looked dating in the lens of friendship because we're really just friends at the end of the day in the dating relationship, as in a Christian perspective. So it was like whatever we communicated with each other, there was someone else in our life that knew about it. And that's actually advice that I give to every single person that I talk about dating with. Just because you don't want your romantic partner to be like the only person that you can emotionally depend on.
Right. Yeah.
Because that's just like, if I was to be really blunt, I think that's pretty dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just because it's like, well, God made us to be in community. So that, that flows out through every single aspect of our life.
That's true. I think that's really wise. And I think that's really helpful.
Yeah. And I think like that's been really helpful because, we've had to have hard conversations, but it was really helpful to know that, oh, someone else knows about what we're going to talk about. So then
So there's like an accountability as well.
Yes, yeah. And which helped us to be vulnerable, like have that opportunity to, but then at the same time being like, oh, this is, you know, Nathan's not the only person that knows about it.
Right.
And I think that actually can flow on through like other friendships as well, where it's like, I'm, you know, like, see, this is where I think guys and girls can be close friends, but as long as there's that boundary that, you know, he's not the only, or she's not the only person that knows about it. Because that's where the risk is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just feel like, again, close friends is tied with close intimacy and the intensity of how you guys are vulnerable with each other. So I'm always the firm believer of guys and girls can't be best friends. Just because, well, for me personally, I'm a person that's very into getting to know people and emotions and talking things out. I'm someone, when I make friends, I'm very like, I make deep friendships. I don't like skimming on the surface. I like getting to know people deeply. And so when it comes to the female, getting to know the female, I've actually had numerous conversations with female friends that I've become close with who are single as well, that we've had to be like, oh, we don't see each other this way, but we need to dial back because we like, you know, like I don't want to keep being vulnerable with someone and rely on someone and get used to that vulnerability and closeness with that person, because it might not be the wisest thing in the future if I do end up getting married to a female. Like, you know, like I just feel like there is a sense of, yes, you can chat and talk, but that closeness that you would experience of someone of the same gender, like, you know, male or female, like you guys can, like, you know, that's a safe space to be vulnerable. But then, it's always the guys and girls. It's always a thing, because for me, I feel like I do catch feelings pretty easily as well. If I do open up to a female. So that's why for me, I have to be very careful with that, because I'm easily like triggered if I'm like talking to females.
The tsunami of emotions.
Yeah, because, you know, you start to feel that care and comfort that females are very good at, while males aren't.
Yeah.
So I think
that's why we like females feel it first.
Yeah.
And
but I think females are used to that as well, though.
Yeah.
And guys aren't. So when guys feel a sense of being taken care of or that intimacy, it's easy for guys to fall down that path, whether the girl is interested or not interested. And it's just like, it's just for a guy's perspective, it's hard to then let go and turn it off, because you just feel that way toward that female. And so you just, so for me, I'm just like, in reality, in like theory, it'd be nice and be great if you could do that. But in reality, I just don't think it is possible without it getting messy, because we're all sinful, fallen people, and I feel like no one's perfect, and so we're not invulnerable to these things. Like, we're very vulnerable to hope, like doing something that might not be helpful.
So maybe one of the boundaries that you mentioned, Vin, is hanging out in a group context. Sounds pretty good, like with opposite sex, because I mean, you'll even see them in a different light in a group context as well. So maybe that's one practical boundary. Or I think frequency, like how often do you see this person? What time of the night?
Oh,
Man, that's crucial, hey?
Yeah.
Never go past like 1 a.m. That is danger zone. Cut out.
I feel like you...
No, that is true. I've had experience where I've chatted with girls till that late. You know, in a safe environment where there's other people.
As in online? Oh, as in person?
In person, in group.
Yeah. Do you think that's different compared to online?
Oh, actually, no. Yeah. Actually,
no, I think Trish is talking about when you're hanging out with someone.
Yeah, so it can be like both.
Oh, no,
Or even online.
Yeah,
though.
true. When you
online.
message each other exclusively late at night, like, I feel like there's more likely of a chance it feels more exclusive, that you're just because it's late and you only are comfortable to
because it feels like the conversations get more intimate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even with the topics. I think that's another thing, right? Which contributes to intimacy is what you talk about.
Yes.
And then everyone has their own like personal like oh, this is intimate, but that person's like, oh, this is like nothing.
Yeah, true,
So that makes it
true.
tricky
Yeah,
too.
it makes
Yeah.
it tricky.
Yeah.
It depends on what's your experiences on like what makes it intimate, I guess.
Yeah. Oh. I think talking about the past is very intimate.
Oh, yes.
That's like, I think that's intimate for everyone.
Yeah.
But one of my is like their kind of like what they're struggling with in their faith.
Yes.
That is a big, like, I've heard so many like flirt to convert stories through someone helping someone struggling with their faith. And it like leads to like, oh, let me help you. And like, dude, it's like with good intention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then it leads to like, oh.
Yeah, like there's
This
an
person's
ulterior
struggling.
motive, and you know
But it didn't
that's
start off with
But
an
it didn't
ulterior
sit with a motive.
right?
It,
Yeah, right.
leads like,
Right.
you just
Because-
develop that because it was intimate. It's an
Yeah,
intimate experience
you-
together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
what was the other, I guess, span of other segment of friendship. So we talked about what was it?
It talks about
Single people being friends.
Yes.
So we talked about that.
Yeah.
What was the other?
the other one was single people being friends with married people.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I think this is when boundaries are a lot more clearer,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I think you were mentioning beforehand how, like, when you're married, the boundaries of friendship is a lot more clearer than when you're single.
Yeah. This is like a really, I think like this is an important topic to talk about.
Yeah.
But I guess this will be the first part
Yeah.
of part 1 of this podcast. So I think we have to leave it there for this episode. And so I guess we'll continue this conversation in part 2 of this episode. But for now, let's just say a quick goodbye and catch you next week. This is us signing off
See
for
you
this way.
guys.
Let's play our outro.